happy that you are here again with me. And this month, I have something super special to talk to you about. And it's about books. Did you know that the Bible is a book that's almost like a library? Yes. Isn't it strange to think about it? But think about, you like to go to the library? The library just had our library here just had an awesome summer program. So at the library, you can find books about history, art, poetry, stories, everything imaginable, right? Guess what? The Bible has those stories too. They're different stories and written by different people. So this month, we are going to be talking about something called Scripture, God's living word. And what does that mean? That means that we're going to talk about certain books in our Bible. Today, we're going to start talking about the book of Proverbs. Have you ever heard that? We sometimes don't even talk really about the Bible, but we say, oh, that's a very well-known proverb. Well, let's talk more about it. Now I wonder, what is your favorite type of book? Is it about history? Is it about stories? Real stories that really happen? Or like the one we talked today about Proverbs? It's like a story that has a meaning behind it. Well, let's find out what our story is for today. So this month, we're gonna hear about stories about wisdom. Do you know what wisdom is? Have you ever heard somebody say, that's a very wise person? So we have books in our Bible that talk about wisdom. People who have something very wise to tell you, and some things you should really think about and perhaps follow, right? So this week, we are going to talk about a wise book, that's Proverbs, like I said, and it was written by a king. Yes, King Solomon. So he was a very wise man, and people really listen and follow his advice because it was wise. So I'm gonna read you the story, very short story from the Celebrate Wonder Story Bible. And this is from the Book of Proverbs, Wise Writings, and that's on Proverbs 6, verses 6 to 8, Proverbs 10, verses 1, and 17, verse 17. So this is the story. King Solomon prayed to God for wisdom. He wanted to make good choices and lead God's people well. Some of the wise things that King Solomon taught are written down in the Book of Proverbs. Solomon taught about working hard by telling a story about ants. He said, pay attention to ants. They work hard. Because of their hard work, they always have food. You should not be lazy, but hardworking like ants. Solomon also said, when you make good choices, your parents will be happy. When you make bad choices, your parents will be sad. Solomon taught about how to be a good friend and family member. He said, friends, love and care for each other all the time. Family members help when there is trouble. I wonder, what makes a person wise? What do you think? What do you think makes a person wise? Now, King Solomon chose to tell a story so people will understand what that meant, right? He said, observe ants. By the way, have you ever watched, observed ants, like seeing an ant nest? Ants are so busy, right? They go from one to the next, one to the next, and they all constantly working. That's what King Solomon took and thought, people will understand better if I tell them my story, like the story about ants, because then they're gonna observe and say, yeah, he's right. This is really true. I mean, nobody tells one ant, or ants don't have a boss who says, now you're gonna go and do that, or you're gonna go do this. They just do it because they know they always gonna have food. They don't have to wait for somebody to tell them something in order to get and work and have the food they need. And that's what King Solomon said too. He said, you have to do it. You don't have to wait for people to tell you. You just do what you have to do. Like for instance, when now school is almost about to start, you don't have to wait for your parents to say, do your homework, or make your bed, or take out the trash. You just do it, right? Because then you know, like King Solomon said in the Book of Proverbs, not only you're gonna make your parents happy, or the people who are watching over you happy, you also make yourself happy because you think, I'm following a good advice, because that is really gonna make me help my family out with, if I can do the chores that I'm supposed to do, because we are all part of a family. Like King Solomon said, take care of your friends and family all the time, right? So let's see what you think it's a good and wise advice that King Solomon gave. Do you like any of this advice? Oh, it's proving already. Many people know that that is very good, solid advice. What type of advice would you give to people? What is something that you learned that you think everybody should know and do that, because that's something really good and wise to do? So I was thinking about something that could always remind you about good thinking and about following good advice, like the advice we have in the Book of Proverbs in the Bible. So then I remembered about an animal that is considered a very wise animal. And also, he's like the symbol of something wise, and that is an owl. And I'm gonna teach you how to make your own owl. See, I just made it. You can tell, I mean, it ain't perfect, but hey, I will always remember about being wise. And why does an owl, what does an owl have to do with being wise? Because you know, owls are great thinkers and hunters. They don't just go like crazy and just go using their brute force. They have strategies. Yes, they make strategies to go for the hunting. And you know, they have amazing vision, night vision. I bet you know a lot about owls. So that's why we are gonna use and do this activity so you can remember to listen to good advice. And I'm sure you are very wise as well. And maybe you can tell others good things that you learned from yourself that is good to do. Just like King Solomon, who prayed to God that he wanted to be wise. He wanted to really make sure people would get something really good and positive so they could follow God the way he knew. And that's what he did in the Book of Proverbs. So maybe you can also write something good or teach others something good and wise. So do you want to learn how to do or how to make an owl? Yes? Okay, stick with me then. I will teach you. So to bake our owl, all you need are like paper plates. So maybe you can find around, whatever you find around home. You need some paper plates. You need perhaps some yellow paper, any white paper you can find. You need either paint or gouache or even markers. Like the owl I did there, I used markers. By the way, this marker smells like chocolate. I just can't eat it, but it smells delicious. Anyways, that's what you're gonna need. So the first thing you're going to do is grab whatever you choose, like I did that one, as I said, with markers or even crayons, or you can use some paint. The only thing with paint, it's gonna take a little more for it to dry. But see here, I'm gonna paint my whole plate brown. So you need the color brown. If you don't have the color brown, you can choose, you can mix black and white paint, and then you have brown, right? Oh no, wait, is it black and white? Let me do that mixture to see. I don't have a small one. Oh no, I'm sorry. You're gonna mix black and yellow. I forgot, it's not white, it's black and yellow. Anyways, I'm gonna continue to use my brown here, just so you have an idea. And you keep painting home until you get it all brown. Then you're gonna need any object that is round on the bottom. So you're gonna do 2 big round. You're gonna trace the round, so you can have the 2 big eyes. 1, 2, and then you're gonna find another object that is perhaps a little bit smaller than this one. Let me see. This is a little bit smaller, this bottom. So whatever you can find home, you make 2 more of those. 2 more, you trace 2 more. Da-da-da. And then something that's smaller, this bottle here is smaller than this bottle. So I'm gonna trace 2 more. So how many am I gonna trace? Look, my owl's eyes have 3 circles. A big circle, a medium circle, and a small circle. So I found 3 round things that I could trace on my paper, and then I'm gonna cut it out and put one over the other. Now you can say, but I only have the same color paper. Doesn't matter, it's okay. If you have all white paper, you can always color yellow, the bigger one, leave the white for the middle one, and then color black, the little one. So how about we do this faster so you don't stay and wait. Let me finish. I haven't finished paint my brown here. So I am going to paint 2 places, 2 paper plates. So you can take your time to do it. I'm gonna paint 2 of them. I can put more color, but if I do it with paint, remember I have to wait until it dries. I'm gonna paint 2 of them. While I paint here, you paint there, and let's see how we're gonna do this to finish up. How you doing with your owl? So remember, I painted 2 plates brown. It's almost dry. And then I cut 3 circles. A big one, a medium one, and a small one. And I used yellow, white, and painted my little black round. And then the next thing I need is to make a little nose. So I'm just gonna make like a big triangle, or not that big, but kind of this. That's what you draw. And now I'm gonna get my scissor and I'm gonna cut my triangle and paint it orange. So that would be the owl's nose. So let me get a marker. I'm gonna use an orange marker. I'm gonna paint it orange. Ta-da! And I have all my pieces. Now the only thing I need to do, one plate I'm gonna leave as it is, and the other plate I am going to cut in the middle so I can get the owl's wings, so it can fly. So all I'm gonna do is cut it right in the middle. And you can always ask an adult to help you out. So I have the wings. And I'm gonna make a little kind of its ears. I'm gonna cut it a little bit open here. As I said, doesn't need to be perfect, right? So let's finish it up. Here I'm gonna, oh, I almost forgot. I am going to look for glue while you look for glue, which I forgot. You need glue. And perhaps you also, if you have a stapler, you can use a stapler. If not, let's do it with glue so we can attach the wings. So here I have my glue. So I'm gonna glue first the big round yellow part of the eye. Now I'm gonna glue the other big yellow part of the eye, just right close to the other one. Two. Now I'm gonna glue the middle part right in the middle of the one yellow, and then the other one in the middle of the other yellow. And now my last part is my little black round for the eye. So the eyes are all set. Now I am going to glue the little nose. Ta-da! And for the last thing, I am going to, this way, attach the wing. And I'm gonna use a stapler just because it's easier. But you can also glue it. One. Two. And here's my owl. So you can also do like this one, have a little string and put it in your room. So you can always remember the owl, the wise, and everything else that we talked today about the story of King Solomon and the good advice in the Book of Proverbs. Isn't that fun? I hope you have a lot of fun making your owl. How about we end this Sunday with a prayer? Pray with me. Dear God, thank you so much for wisdom. Help us always make good and wise choices. Amen. May God be with you, and He is with you all the time. Have a wonderful weekend, loved ones, and I see you next time.